Hello and welcome to the Flix Forum podcast, where each episode we go back and we look at a Netflix original film in the order of release. Today we have Netflix 418th film from 2021. It's the teen romantic comedy called He's All That. This one's directed by Mark Waters and stars Addison Rae, Tanner Buchanan, Madison Pettis, Peyton Meyer, Rachael Leigh Cook, and Matthew Lillard. I am Jesse. I am your host. Thank you for joining me today for this Netflix original film. As I always say at the start, if this is one you haven't seen yet, it's been out for a few years, but if you haven't seen it and you're interested in checking it out, give us a pause and come back a little bit later on, because I'm going to spoil this movie as we go through this chat. And we start our show with the Fast Flicks, where we do a quick little summary of what the film is all about. So this one is about a social media queen who gets cheated on by her boyfriend. So she makes a bet with her fake best friend that she can turn a loser into a cool kid. There we go. That is the gist. And I'm sure there are many of you that would know, if you've seen this film, that this is a gender-swapped remake of the film from 1999 called She's All That. So they've switched the genders around. And in saying that, that was a modern adaptation of George Bernard Shaw's 1914 play called Pygmalion, and of the 1964 film My Fair Lady by George Cukor. So there we go. That's what this film is all about. What is Netflix saying? What are Netflix giving us? The tagline for this film: it's his turn for a makeover. Cool. That ties in. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy. Their logline on Netflix, when you log into Netflix and look up the film, it says, flipping the script on a prom makeover. This remake from the writer of the original film, She's All That, features original stars Rachael Leigh Cook and Matthew Lillard. So those are the only two people that have returned from the original film in different roles, but yes, they are in this film. When you are watching the film on Netflix, the little line says, an influencer specializing in makeovers bets she can transform an unpopular classmate into prom king in this remake of the teen classic She's All That. So not much difference there. That's where we're at. So around the world, what are the translations for this film around the world? In Spanish, it's he is like that. Sure. Portuguese, he's too much. There's some weird translations here. In French, he has everything going for him. Does he? Okay. Interesting. In Czech, it's such a normal boy. Okay. Finnish, there's something about you. In German, someone like no other. In Greek, the boy of your dreams. Okay. Hungarian, the boy doesn't walk alone. Oh, okay. That's cute. In Hindi, that thing is in it. In Polish, all of him. Romanian, it's called A Wonderful Boy. In Slovak, such a normal guy. Chinese, the making of a male god. Oh, goodness gracious me. In Turkish, this is the kind of boy. In Arabic, the title is It's All That and More. And in Vietnamese, it's He Is Everything. There we go. Some different takes around the world of what this is called. We go back to September of 2020, where this gender-swapped remake of She's All That was announced by Miramax, titled He's All That, with Mark Waters to direct, and the original screenwriter, R. Lee Fleming Jr. to write. So he wrote the screenplay for the original film too. And Addison Rae joined to star. It was then in December of 2020 when Rachael Leigh Cook joined the cast to portray Ray's mother, or Ray's character's mother, and it was confirmed that she's not related to her original character in the original film. Matthew Lillard, as mentioned before, also returns from the original film. Apparently, he was only on set for 30 minutes in this to make this film, so that's pretty wild. Good paycheck for him. It was filmed from the 20th of November 2020 to December 19th, 2020 in and around LA. And one of those locations in LA was Union Station. And they filmed there in December of 2020. And the city was criticised for its decision to close a COVID-19 testing site to accommodate the filmmakers. So the station was a testing site and the filmmakers wanted to use it. The decision was reversed and the testing site was able to continue while the filming took place. So there you go, some real life consequences from the making of a film. In August of 2021, the song Kiss Me was covered by Cyan for the film soundtrack. So Kiss Me is a very familiar song to many people my age from the original film as well. Here's All That, the movie, had its world premiere at the Ney House in Hollywood, California on August the 25th, 2021, before it hit Netflix worldwide on August the 27th, 2021. And according to Netflix, it was the number one film on the service that week. This did have a reported budget of $20 million, which for a teen rom-com, it seems like quite a lot of money. It was also nominated at the People's Choice Awards for the Comedy Movie of 2021. I'm not sure if it was nominated for people laughing for all the wrong reasons. Anyway, I'm not giving away my early thoughts too early. What are the critics and audiences saying about this film? On Rotten Tomatoes, this sits at a rotten 29% from critics on 58 reviews, so that's very, very low. The audience even lower, 23%. That's on more than 1,000 ratings, so we would probably say we're looking at some negative ratings here. Same for IMDb, it sits at a 4.4 out of 10 on 32,000 ratings. Definitely that low side. Then Letterboxd, it sits at a 1.3 out of 5 on over 215,000 ratings. That is a lot of ratings, and that is very, very low. It's actually been logged by 310,000 people on Letterboxd. That is some big, big numbers for a Netflix original film. Metacritic, the system that uses the traffic light code of red, yellow, and green. Obviously, green being positive, red being negative. The critics have it at 36 out of 100 on 22 reviews, and the audience also has it red on 3.3 out of 10 on 53 reviews. So overall, you would probably say this film has not been received too well. And what are my early thoughts on this one? This film is super, super cringe the whole way through. Addison Rae, she may have over 80 million followers on TikTok, but that doesn't necessarily mean she can hold a film together. And there is literally no chemistry in this film between any of the characters. And that's probably what lets this film down the most. So let's talk about the characters in this film. So let's talk about our main character. Addison Rae plays a character called Paget, or Padge, or Paige, or whatever you want to call her. She is, as I've said throughout so far, a social media queen who uses her platforms to hide that her mother works really hard and they live in a poor area of town, and she's not actually well off, and it's all fake, and she does it to pay for college, and that's what she needs to do. And she surrounds herself by some questionable characters throughout the film. The boy that needs the makeover is Cameron. He's a super unpopular kid at the school that Paget goes to as well, and he sort of follows his own rules. He doesn't like social norms. He's I guess a wannabe photographer, so he likes to take photos, but he doesn't share these with anyone. And he also likes martial arts films, and this is key. This is a key character trait for a fight scene in the film. But he doesn't conform to anything, including music, but he somehow knows the lyrics to a Katy Perry song as well, even though there's big focus on him liking alternative rock. And for some reason or another, I'm guessing for plot device, he likes horses, and he likes to donate his time to support horses. So yeah, there we go. Alden is Paget's so-called best friend, who thinks she's cool and hip, but ends up turning into a rival and the villain, and just not a nice person. Jordan is Paget's ex-boyfriend, who at the start, I said this in the Fast Flicks anyway, but he cheats on her, and that's her downfall almost. And this guy thinks he's like a rapper. He likes social media too. This is like the most affluent high school going around, to be honest, the way that these people prance around with social media and their careers while they're still in high school. Bryn is Cameron's younger sister, who she's the opposite of him, I guess. She wants to be cool. She wants to be in the social scene. She admires Paget and tells Cameron almost that she's out of your league. So, do what you can to keep her. And I think she highlights the family struggles that he's facing. Their mother died in a plane crash. The dad lives in Sweden for some reason, and they live with their grandma. So they're just these little things to add more trauma to their lives. The last two characters are side friends. So Nisha is Cameron's really only friend. She looks out for him. And Quinn is Paget's other friend, who actually seems really nice. And they're put there so that her and Nisha can end up together, I guess, is why they're playing off the side too. The director, Mark Waters, some pretty big films, mostly for the teen audience. So the Freaky Friday version from 2003, so that's a big film. Mean Girls, another big film. Did the Spiderwick Chronicles, Ghosts of Girlfriends Past, Mr. Popper's Penguins, the Vampire Academy film, which is based on that book series. He did Bad Santa 2, as well as Magic Camp, which is I think it was when Disney Plus launched. It was one of the original films that they sort of promoted at the time, as well as another Netflix original film in 2025 called La Dolce Villa, which we will cover at some stage in about 2029, possibly, if we keep going the way we are. Let's talk about some scenes. What are some scenes that worked? What are some scenes that didn't work? So, standout scenes. Paget walking in on her boyfriend cheating on her, and she gets this snot bubble on her nose, which sends her viral for all the wrong reasons. I thought that was humorous. I had a little chuckle. There's a scene where Paget tells Cameron she is so sore that she can barely move, and he's with his friend Nisha, and she looks super surprised, and she's like, oh, from horse riding. I thought that was funny. A good little innuendo. Matthew Lillard, he's the principal of this school, and he's on the PA throughout the film making announcements. And one of his announcements is announcing that Cameron is a prom king candidate. And he's like, Cameroon's a student. I thought that was funny. Cameron and Bryn's grandma, she was not in it much. She could have been a great character. They don't give her enough. She's in like 2 or 3 scenes. But there's one scene where Bryn and Cameron are talking about how he kissed Paget. And he talks to his sister about how awkward it was. And his younger sister's like, well, it's awkward like how when you have sex for the first time and weird. And the grandma just pipes in and says, the last time too. I thought that was funny. And Matthew Lillard at the end, as the principal at the prom, it was great. He talks about weird prom traditions. He puts Alden back in her place. I'm not too sure about his dance. I know it's reminiscent of the original film and his dance in that. But apart from that, I thought that was a good little cameo at the end of the film. But this is the part you're all looking for. These are the parts where the things I didn't like, the things that didn't work. The opening scene. Paget has an alarm. Like, there's this really big pan around her room, showing off all her social media gear, making it look like a bright, bubbly teenage girl room. And the bedroom is lit up, brighter. It is lighter than Times Square on New Year's Eve, and she's meant to be asleep, and this alarm wakes. So I found that so weird. Paget throws horse poo at Cameron. That just wasn't funny. Cameron gets on stage to sing Katy Perry's Teenage Dream with Paget to support her. It was seriously lame because, and I said this before, there was a big deal about him liking alternative music, and he somehow knows the lyrics to this song, like as if the whole Union train station scene and Cameron talking about taking photos of randoms without permission. It felt so weird, and there was no chemistry between the two of them whatsoever in that scene. There's this roaring 20s Great Gatsby themed party, as if any of the kids in this film would have read that book or understand that book. And there's a line, drop it like it's F. Scott. I get it because I know who the author of The Great Gatsby is, but I just thought it was such a lame line. Of course, there had to be a Cameron shirt off scene. It just wasn't needed. And then Paget, like, she's doing the makeover of Cameron and cuts his hair and shaves him, and he puts a suit on, and all of a sudden the camera works make it like she's head over heels for him. I just thought that was really poorly done. Bryn goes to this party that I mentioned before, the Great Gatsby style party, and she's sexually harassed by Jordan, Paget's ex-boyfriend. It was gross, and it was not needed, and it led to Cameron pretending he was macho and kicking the crap out of Jordan, and all of a sudden this makes him popular, something his character would really not want. So I thought that was a little bit weird and not great narrative-wise. And this is followed by Alden hitting onto this creep, and just so that there's more beef between her and Paget. Alden turns up at school to have a go at Paget, and she's got this whole posse that follows her and claps behind her. Super lame. It felt like a 1990s style thing. It's like the directors haven't developed or understood how social norms have changed over the years. The whole Cameron Paget kiss, where she wants to tell him that he's a bet, but she can't. So she gets up awkwardly because he says that he trusts her, and then she's like, I've got somewhere to go. It was so cringe. The same as Alden doing a car wash in a bikini, revealing to Cameron that he was a bet. It was just poor. Macklemore. I like Macklemore, the artist. I like his music. I like the song Dance Off. But what they did with this song for the prom dance off, I thought was disgusting. What the hell? It was just this big mosh dance off thing that didn't add anything. And Paget's prom speech about the real me, the real her, it was so lame, so bad. Anyway, let's talk about some themes, some ideas, some motifs. Obviously, this is made for a TikTok world, a TikTok audience, and social media, and the importance of the addictions or the importance of what social media and perception is to the youth these days. But the idea too, you don't have to document everything. You need to enjoy real moments and life. And there's a bit of an idea here about education and the cost of education and how it's unreachable for many, especially further tuition after high school, and that distinction between the haves and the have-nots. Obviously, teen drama, feelings, lust, emotions, the prom, school, all those milestones, and learning that there's more to life than just superficial looks too. And high school, I guess they play this line a few times, but I think it's like high school's scared people pretending to be something they're not. But you've got to learn from your mistakes, and I think that's an important message that you can take away from this film. What else did I take away from this film? I wasn't a huge fan of the original film. I watched it again a couple of years ago, but I remember the music. And obviously, I mentioned before, Kiss Me is a song that I know pretty much all the lyrics to, probably because of this film. And it took me a while to recognize the songs in this film. I don't know if that's just showing my age. There's a pool party, and the song "The Boy Is Mine" played, and I was like, oh, I like that. I like that song. But again, that's not a recent song. That's a song showing more of my vintage. All right, IMDb. Sometimes we have a moment where we go, did we jump on IMDb to check any of the cast out that we may have recognized? I had to I waited till the end of the film, but Madison Pettis, she plays Eldon, the arch nemesis, or used to be the friend of Paget, and obviously they're not anymore. And I was like, she looks like someone from one of those Fear Street Netflix films that we've covered on this show. But no, I was wrong. She was in the film called The Wrong Paris, which was a Netflix bonus episode we put out late last year. She was the Lexi character, so that's why she looks so familiar. And the other one too, this Jessica Miles Torres lady, she's the social media, or the person paying Paget for her promotions on her social media. I was like, that's Kim Kardashian. This just shows how out of the loop I am. It's Kourtney. So I had the right family. It's Kourtney Kardashian. But a weird week. Kim Kardashian has been in the news this week for rumors of dating Lewis Hamilton, one of the F1 drivers. So there you go. There's a interesting little thing to tie in with maybe why I thought it was Kim Kardashian. Questions, ponderings, thoughts, some ideas. Paget, I have to say, I've held on to it this long. What sort of a name is that? What a horrendous name to name a character. I don't know, it just felt like a weird name. And then her mum, Rachael Leigh Cook, the first shot of them together in the kitchen, they looked the same age. It just felt weird that was her mother. They looked like they were best mates or something. So it took a while until I heard her say mum. Then I was like, oh, it's your actual mum. I thought you were like, it's your roommate or something like that. Miramax, I said this before, I knew that they did the original film, but I thought after the Weinstein stuff that they were pretty much defunct and the people that had bought it out weren't using the name anymore. So I thought that was interesting. There's this Asian science nerd stereotype. I feel like 2021, we're sort of past that, so that felt a bit weird. The word misanthropic was used. What a big word for this movie. I'm sure it probably went over the head of most people watching this, but yes, I'm unsociable too. Haha. The product placement throughout was pretty bad, especially Pizza Hut, Doritos, KFC. Like, they were just in your face to be in your face. There's a joke about someone getting ditched for a guy who plays for the Clippers, which is a Los Angeles-based NBA team. I'm not sure if this is meant to be funny, to be like, oh, he's playing for the worst team in LA. I'm not sure that lands. Anyway, that was just a side note. And Quinn and Nisha, they just felt like this side story. I sort of said this when I was talking about the characters, but they felt like this side story to add in some representation. But it probably would have been nicer if it was actually fleshed out, their relationship, to show that they actually connected rather than just some side off moments. Anyway, I'm ready to wrap this one up. I think I've spoken quite a while for what this film is. We give the films a rating out of 5 on this show. For me, I remember the original being I remember it being poor in representation. It was quite sexist from memory. And I guess this removes all of that, but it's still not good. I didn't feel any realistic moments at all in this film. There was no chemistry between any of the cast. It just seemed off the whole way through. So I give this a 1.5 out of 5. Very, very low from me. We're on socials. We've got X, formerly known as Twitter. We've got Facebook, and we have Instagram. Give us a follow. Give us a like if you can. This is in relation to Paget. I've got a question. I'm going to pop out there. Paget, when she's doing one of her social media videos, she has people messaging in, interacting with her, asking her questions about her makeup and her daily routines. And on screen, in text, a person asks, well, how do you get rid of pimples? And then Paget answers the question referring to it as a zit. Now, I believe zit's a very American way of saying it. So the question I want to ask is, do you call it a zit or a pimple? In Australia, very much pimples. Pimples, pimples, pimples. So I'm intrigued. Is zit just an American thing? Let us know in the comments for this episode. Other than that, we will be back next week with another film from 2021. This film is a supernatural comedy called Afterlife of the Party. It's directed by Stephen Herrick and stars Victoria Justice, Midori Francis, Timothy Renouf, Adam Garcia, and Spencer Sutherland. There we go. I have no idea what this one's about. So intrigued. I'm excited. I hope you are. Give it a watch before next week. As always, thanks for joining, and I'll see you then.